Whether Democrats admit it or not, the far-left radicals are now running the party. Just look at their candidate for mayor in New York City, avowed socialist Zohran Mamdani.
We are watching in full display what I would call the self-destruction of America's greatest city, New York City. The capital of capitalism could soon be led by a socialist. Now, ain't that something? Ain't that something? And the fact that people like AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Mamdani, the fact that those are the face of the Democratic Party, this tells us everything we need to know. But we still have to take them seriously, because if the propaganda machine from the left was able to convince 70 million of Americans to vote for Kamala Harris, that means this machine is powerful. Let's get active.
Zohran Mamdani, who according to CNN, received a phone call from Barack Obama, during which the former president reminded him that many people would be watching his ability to govern, with Democrats looking to see if a socialist could govern and critics ready to pounce on any mistake he makes.
And one thing we have to be absolutely clear about is the fact that the lack of leadership from the Democratic Party has been so evident in New York City. This actually led people to believe capitalism is the issue. This led people to believe, oh, maybe socialism could fix this.
According to the report, Obama stressed that values are important, but prioritizing good hires is even more important. Mamdani is building growing support behind his campaign, despite still missing out on a few notable endorsements, including that of House Minority Leader and New York City Congressman Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader New York Senator Chuck Schumer.
Mamdani is so bad news. Even woke people like Schumer, like Jeffries, people with radical ideologies, they look at Mamdani and they say, ooh, this is too radical for me. That's how bad Mamdani is.
The New York State Democratic chairman still has not endorsed Mamdani. Here with more, Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin. Senator Mullin, thank you so much for joining us. You know, if you're a political nerd who likes to watch politics, this is an extraordinary race to watch in New York City. You have the capital, the leader of the capital of capitalism in the free world, New York City, on the verge of having a full-blown communist as its mayor, and then you have the highest-ranked Democrats in the country, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, refusing to endorse him.
Well, Mamdani is definitely the leading of the Democrat Party right now. If you think about it, you have Mamdani, you have Sanders, you have AOC, you have Jasmine Crockett that's out there leading. And so you have Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries that are trying to figure out where they belong. Because if Hakeem Jeffries is wanting to run for president in 28, so he doesn't want to get close to this communist. And we're not calling him names. He openly says he's a communist. Right. So you have communists, you have socialists that are leading the party right now. You have Chuck Schumer that is trying to figure out which way he goes, because AOC isn't going to run for president. I don't think there's any way she does that. She is going to pick off Chuck Schumer, and he knows that. And that's why this whole government shutdown is going in the direction that it's going, because it's going to be a Schumer shutdown, because if he votes for a CR to keep the government open, AOC is definitely running against him. So you have Mamdani now that is a true communist, like he says it himself. We're not calling names. He says it himself. Yeah, very proud of it. That could be leading the financial world, the city that the financial world sets in. I mean, the exodus is going to be huge. Dallas, Texas is going to end up with a stock exchange. All the corporate money that's in New York is going to leave the state, because who's going to stay when you have a guy that says he wants to socialize the grocery stores, he wants to socialize the parks, he wants to socialize and when I say socialize the parks, he wants to open them up for homelessness to stay in place. Right. He wants to take the police department and literally gut it and make it into where they're just public servants, not actually law enforcement. And you go, who wants to live in a city like that? I mean, literally, who wants to live in a city like that?
Mamdani claims his policies will help working family. But in reality, working families will be the first one to get hurt, because one thing rich people, one thing big corporations have, they have the ability to move around. They are movable. They'll move to Florida. They'll move to Texas. They'll move to Dubai. So once Mamdani starts to to put in place all his radical ideologies, the rich people are going to leave, and now people are going to be losing their job.
And of course, it's important to remember that Mamdani is far more a rejection of Democrats and Democrat policies, the policies that have governed this city for literally decades. But I also have to say, and I know that you appreciate this because you're a fairly late newcomer to Washington and you're very skeptical of the old Republican establishment, for which I'm very grateful. But, you know, I've seen, you know, situations where a situation looks really good for Republicans on paper, and then the Republican Party, pre-Trump, they find new ways to lose things. And so I get a little nervous, especially here as, you know, we're in the final term of Donald Trump's presidency. You know, do you have faith that Republicans are going to learn the lesson that is needed to combat this guy?
Well, we have different leadership in the Republican Party right now. I mean, just think about how close Leader Thune works with President Trump. Look what he's doing right now and just literally steamrolling Chuck Schumer every opportunity we have. I mean, just today, just yesterday, we voted to change the rules, and now we have 168 of President's nominees in place. And by the end of October, we won't have a backlog at all because of the leadership of Thune. So you have a good partnership right now. You have President Trump that's leading. He has a very good partnership with Speaker Johnson. We're working hand in hand, and I mean this. Both chambers are working hand in hand with the White House, pushing out President Trump's agenda. And so I don't see us getting ahead of our skis, so to say. I think in the midterm right now, there's a clear contrast between who's leading the Democrat Party, and instead of them learning their lessons from getting whipped just a year ago in the presidential election, they've actually leaned into their left tendencies, and they're allowing socialists and communists to control their party. The Republicans are showing more unification than we've ever had. Now, we still have some outliers, but we're unified in what the American people mandated November of last year, and we're moving forward with President Trump's agenda, making America great again. So I think if we continue down this path, the American people have a clear contrast between what the Biden administration stood for, what the Trump administration stood for, and which leadership and which party do you want to be leading this country is very clear.
One thing President Trump has done, President Trump has changed the nature of politics. Not only more young people are interested in politics now, but the normal American person, when they listen to President Trump, they're like, okay, this guy gets it. They can relate to President Trump. Before, politics was boring, right? Bunch of old men in suits. But when Trump speaks, people listen. And when you see people like even Vivek Ramaswamy, you know, like those people, they can connect with even J.D. Vance. They connect with the American people. But when you hear Biden speaking, you're like, get this man out of here. And also, whoever the next leader of the Republican Party is going to be, whether it's J.D. Vance, whether it's Vivek Ramaswamy, Marco Rubio, they still have to adapt the America First agenda. And I think that's one big shift President Trump has done in the Republican Party. America spent years sending billions of dollars to Africa, billions of dollars to Europe, billions to the Caribbean. For what? And you see all these people in those countries are getting rich using the American taxpayers' money, while we have Americans here sleeping in the streets, while we have veterans here needing the help. President Trump said, you know what, no, it's time to take care of Americans first. So I think whoever is going to be, they will have to adapt the same policies, the same agenda. Well,
and I pray that, you know, one thing I will give credit to Mamdani for is he has picked up a lot of frustrations, in particular among young voters. And obviously he gives a lie as the answer, but at least he gives an answer. And I pray that and Donald Trump has been very good about addressing those issues. And I pray that Republicans, you keep on top of the Republicans to make sure that they give the true answer.
And that's why I call Mamdani Obama 2.0. When you listen to Mamdani, he uses charisma, his little swag, try to be suave, and he's always smiling. He has the fakest smile ever. Like, you know, like he's a snake. You cannot trust him. You cannot trust him. New York City is already drowning in crime, and Mamdani's way to fix this is to reduce the amount of police officers in the streets. and replace them with what he calls public servant. And keep in mind, those so-called public servants, they are not law enforcement. Therefore, they will not be able to enforce the law. If someone is committing a crime, they can't really stop them. You know, so it's like when you listen to this man speak, you're like, wait, this is your guy? This is your choice?
And Charlie, I will, but I want you to also look at what happened in just the, unfortunately, you know, what happened with Charlie Kirk and the assassination, but what happened to the country. I mean, as of today, there's over 60,000. Before last time I checked, which was this morning, there's over 60,000 chapters people that are requesting new chapters around the country for Turning Point USA. The younger generation that Charlie Kirk was reaching out to, they have woken up inside spiritually and with a fierce fight to say we're going in the wrong direction, and you don't underestimate their impact in the midterm elections.
Yeah. Yep, they thought if they took away Charlie, the movement would stop, but guess what? They just made the movement 20 times, 100 times, 1,000 times bigger. And us conservatives, we are going to fight back. We are going to speak up. We're going to fight radical ideologies. For so long, these leftists, they have been so loud, destroying this country, abusing children. Now is the time to say enough is enough. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as I continue to call out the nonsense from the Democratic Party, and of course bring more and better content. You guys stay safe, and as always, may God bless you and may God bless the United States of America.